All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3 projects including Kisan Suryodaya Yojana in Gujarat today. Health Minister Harshvardhan says next 3 months are crucial for the country in the fight against COVID-19. Government imposes stock limit to check rise in onion prices. India's foreign exchange reserves touch all-time high of $555.12 billion. Pakistan to remain in grey list of global terror financing watchdog FATF till February 2021. And in IPL cricket, defending champions Mumbai Indians beat Chennai Super Kings by 10 wickets in Sharjah. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate 3 key projects in Gujarat today through video conferencing. Prime Minister will launch the Kisan Suryodaya Yojana for the farmers of Gujarat. He will inaugurate the Pediatric Heart Hospital attached with UN Mehta Institute of Cardiology and Research Centre and a mobile application for telecardiology at the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital in Ahmedabad. He will also inaugurate the ropeway at Girnar. More details from our correspondent.
To provide daytime power supply for irrigation, the Gujarat government had recently announced the Kisan Suryodaya Yojana. Under the scheme, farmers will be able to avail power supply from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. The state government has allocated a budget of 3,500 crore rupees for installing transmission infrastructure under the scheme by 2023. With the inauguration of Pediatric Heart Hospital, UN Mehta Institute will now become India's biggest hospital for cardiology, in addition to being one of the select few hospitals in the world with a world-class medical infrastructure and medical facilities. The Girnar ropeway, initially there will be 25 to 30 cabins with a capacity of 8 people per cabin. A distance of 2.3 kilometers will now be covered in just 7.5 minutes through the ropeway. The ropeway will also provide a scenic view of the lush green beauty surrounding the Girnar mountain. Anupam Mishra, KR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with CEOs of leading global oil and gas companies in the annual event organized by Niti Aayog and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas on Monday through video conferencing. This is the 5th such event organized by Niti Aayog and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Around 45 CEOs of major oil and gas companies will attend the event this year. The annual interaction has gradually become one of the most important gatherings of not only intellectual debate but also of executive action. The event also grows in stature with the rise of India, the world's 3rd largest energy consumer, which is likely to see over $300 billion investment by 2030 in the oil and gas sector to meet rising demand. Prior to it, the Prime Minister will inaugurate the India Energy Forum by CERAWeek, now in its 4th year. It is hosted by IHS Markit, a world leader in critical information, analytics and solutions. The inaugural speakers include Minister of Energy of Saudi Arabia, Abdul Aziz bin Salman Al Saud, US Secretary of Energy Dan Brewitt, and Vice Chairman IHS Markit and Chairman CERAWeek Dr. Daniel Yergin.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be on a 2-day visit to Darjeeling and Sikkim from today. During the visit, the Defence Minister will visit forward areas and interact with troops. He will perform Shastra Puja on Dussehra and inaugurate an infrastructure project built by Border Roads Organisation BRO. Health Minister Harshvardhan has said that the next 3 months are going to be decisive in determining the situation of COVID-19 in the country. He said, if we take adequate precautions and follow COVID-appropriate behavior in the coming festival and winter season, we will be in a better position to fight the pandemic. Dr. Harshvardhan said the methodology of testing, tracing and treatment should continue and more precautions have to be put in place in view of the festival season. The Health Minister said thrust should be given to simple precautionary measures which are effective in preventing COVID-19 to a large extent, such as wearing a mask and following hand and respiratory etiquettes.
जो विंटर्स आ रही है जिसमें कम से कम थ्योरेटिकली तो जरूर संभावना रहती है रेस्पिरेटरी वायरसेस के बढ़ने की और इस बात को ध्यान में रखने की आवश्यकता है। और दूसरा, अभी जो फेस्टिवल्स का सीजन शुरू हुआ है जिसके कारण सारे देश में लोगों को जो कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर है उसको निग्लेक्ट करके और इकट्ठा होने की संभावनाएं हैं। अगर अगले 3 महीने हमने प्रिकॉशंस, सावधानियां पूरा विजिलेंट रहकर और खासकर उसमें जो कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर की मैंने बात की कि अच्छी तरह से मास्क को लोगों को लगाने की आदत को स्मरण कराना, हैंड हाइजीन के बारे में, रेस्पिरेटरी एटिकेट्स के बारे में, 2 गज की दूरी के बारे में, भीड़ भाड़ के इलाकों को अवॉइड करने के बारे में और जहां तक हो सके फेस्टिवल्स को अपने परिवार के साथ घर में मनाने, ये सारी जो छोटी छोटी बातें हैं इनको आग्रह पूर्वक सारे सरकारों को, सभी स्वयंसेवी संस्थाओं को, अधिकारियों को अपने अपने क्षेत्र में फैलाने की आवश्यकता है।
The Health Minister was interacting with officials of Uttar Pradesh during a video conferencing meeting to review COVID-19 preparedness and measures for ensuring COVID-appropriate behavior. He also reviewed the status of 20 districts in Uttar Pradesh that had recorded an increase in COVID cases. India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID-19. The active caseload of the country has fallen below 7 lakh for the first time after nearly 2 months. The total positive cases in the country are 6,95,509, which comprise merely 8.96% of the total reported cases. The total recovered cases are nearly 70 lakh, and the difference between active cases and recovered cases is also consistently widening. The recovered cases are nearly 10 times more than the active cases. Nearly 74,000 patients have recovered and were discharged in the last 24 hours, whereas the new confirmed cases reported in the same time span stood at nearly 54,000. The national recovery rate has further progressed to 89.53%.
Gujarat recorded 1,112 new cases during the past 24 hours. The recovery rate has reached up to 89.31%. More details from our correspondent.
Gujarat has recorded the lowest deaths in a day during the last 6 months. The state has recorded 6 deaths yesterday, including 2 deaths each in Ahmedabad and Surat. Total death toll of COVID-19 in the state has gone up to 3,676. Meanwhile, the total cases detected so far in Gujarat has reached up to 1,65,233. 1,47,512 patients recovered from COVID-19 till now. 1,264 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 56,38,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 231 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 182 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 13,985, out of which 69 patients are on ventilator. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 94.32%. This is 4.79% more than the national average. 1,244 patients recovered during the past 24 hours, while 1,093 positive cases were reported. Active patients in the state are continuously decreasing. At present, 10,917 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals. 1,98,437 patients have so far recovered from corona infection in the state. In Chhattisgarh, a health protection campaign will be launched soon at the community level to control the spread of coronavirus and also to address other health problems. This campaign will be conducted every week till the end of the year. The campaign will be carried out in rural and urban areas by the teams formed earlier for intensive community survey campaign in the state. The Additional Chief Secretary of State Health Department, Renu G. Pillai, has written a letter to all the collectors directing that in the rural areas and urban slum areas, the health workers will gather information about the persons with symptoms of corona infection on every Wednesday and Thursday of the week. ACS Renu G. Pillai said that use of face mask has been made mandatory in all offices of the state to prevent corona infection.
एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर को प्रोत्साहित करने के लिए एक प्रभावी आईईसी कैंपेन हम चलाने वाले हैं, जिसमें हम कोविड के एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर संबंधी जो 3 सूत्र है, मास्क का उपयोग, फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग और हैंड हाइजीन पर विशेष रूप से ध्यान देंगे। इस संबंध में मुख्य सचिव ने सभी विभागों को निर्देशित किए हैं कि सभी कार्यालय, चाहे वो स्टेट लेवल का हो, जिला स्तर का हो या फील्ड का हो, सभी कार्यालयों में इन तीनों का प्रभावी फॉलोअप हो, चाहे अधिकारी हो, कर्मचारी हो, कोई आगंतुक हो, कोई भी बिना मास्क के किसी भी कार्यालय में न आए।
In Odisha, 2,377 COVID-19 patients recovered yesterday, taking the tally to 2,59,418. On the other hand, 1,793 persons were detected positive during the last 24 hours, pushing the cumulative caseload of the state to 2,77,887. More from our correspondent.
With a recovery rate of about 93% and a case fatality rate of 0.43%, the state continues to maintain a positive outlook in terms of COVID-19 management indicators. With a decline in fresh cases below 2,000 per day and the drop in active cases below 20,000 as of now, the state is poised to push the positivity further down through sustained awareness campaign on COVID-appropriate behavior. The ongoing outdoor Dussehra celebrations across the state have been tailored down to the level of ritualistic essentials in sync with the COVID-19 preventive protocol. Accordingly, the district administrations across the state have been asked to ensure the current and the upcoming festivities do not get feverish enough to allow the virus enjoy a second surge. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Karnataka, 5,356 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the state yesterday, taking the tally to 7,93,907. At the same time, 8,749 people were cured from the disease and were discharged from various hospitals in the state. So far, a total of 6,93,584 people were discharged from the hospitals. 51 COVID patients lost their lives and the total fatalities have increased to 10,821. At present, 89,483 active patients are taking treatment in the hospitals. The state conducted 1,08,356 COVID tests yesterday and the total tests have gone up to 7,16,854. A report.
Karnataka Health and Family Welfare and Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar in a tweet said that the number of recoveries have outnumbered the number of new cases for the 9th consecutive day. State recovery rate stands at 87.36% and the mortality rate stands at 1.36%. Among the new cases, Bengaluru reported with the highest number of 2,688 cases and Bidar district reported the lowest number of 3 cases. Out of 30 districts in the state, 18 districts reported below 100 cases yesterday. According to the guidelines issued by the Government of India to give COVID-19 vaccine to the frontline COVID warriors, the State Health Department is preparing a list of frontline warriors in the state. R. Murthy, AR News, Bengaluru.
In Tamil Nadu, the number of people under treatment has further come down to below 33,000. The new infections in the last 24 hours have also registered a marginal decline at 3,057 patients. More from our correspondent.
The decline in the active COVID-19 caseload and the drop in the new infections in Tamil Nadu has become a regular feature. The dip in the important parameters has seemingly given the confidence for the government to encourage the resumption of more and more economic activities. The State Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has written to the Railway Minister Piyush Goyal to resume the suburban train services in Chennai at the earliest. He has said the resumption will encourage the local economy. He has pointed out the operation of long-distance train services by the Southern Railways, the running of the metro trains in the city and other modes of public transport throughout the state. Jai Singh, AAR News, Chennai.
The greatest batswoman of all time and captain of Indian women's cricket team, Mithali Raj, has urged people to follow COVID-related guidelines to stay safe.
I, Mithali Raj, pledge to adopt COVID-19 safe practices and encourage all my friends, colleagues and followers to do the same. Although we are in Unlock 5 and everything is slowly reopening, yet it is not time to relax, but to follow COVID protocols strictly. I commit to wear mask when stepping out, especially in public places. Maintain appropriate social distance, minimum of 6 feet and wash my hands with soap thoroughly and frequently. We can and we will beat this deadly virus.
Former ISRO chairman Dr. K. Radhakrishnan has also appealed to people to follow all COVID guidelines and protocols.
The pandemic COVID-19 continues to disrupt the human life everywhere in the world. The propagation of this pandemic and its consequences are still not yet understood fully. In this context, every citizen has a responsibility to protect himself or herself, to ensure that the disease does not spread in the neighborhood, ensure social distancing, and also to go by the actions taken by the government organization.
The government has said it has taken steps to moderate prices and availability of onion in the country. Briefing media in New Delhi, Consumer Affairs Secretary Leela Nandan said a stock limit has been imposed on the onions with effect from today, which is 25 metric tons for wholesalers and 2 metric tons for retailers for a period up to 31st December 2020.
ये जो स्टॉक लिमिट्स लगाए गए हैं इसका मैसेज ये है कि नो वन इज टू होर्ड द अनियंस एंड मैनिपुलेट द प्राइसेस जिसका नुकसान आम कंज्यूमर को पूरे देश में सहन करना पड़े. दैट इज द वेरी स्ट्रांग मैसेज दैट वी आर गिविंग आउट.
She added in order to moderate the price rise, the government took a preemptive step by announcing a ban on onion export on the 14th of last month so as to ensure availability to domestic consumers at reasonable rates before the expected arrival of Kharif onion. The secretary said retail price rise has moderated to some extent, but recent reports of heavy rainfall in the onion growing districts of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh have created concerns about damage to Kharif crop.
India's foreign exchange reserves have surged by $3.615 billion to touch a fresh lifetime high of $555.12 billion in the week ended 16th of October. Foreign currency assets, a major part of the overall reserves, increased by $3.539 billion to $512.322 billion. Gold reserves went up by $86 million in the reporting week to reach $36.685 billion. The country's special drawing rights with the International Monetary Fund remained unchanged at $1.48 billion, while reserve position with the IMF declined by $11 million to $4.634 billion. The Global Terror Financing Watchdog Financial Action Task Force, FATF, has decided to keep Pakistan in the grey list. The FATF has told Pakistan to swiftly complete its full action plan by February next year. It said Pakistan needs to do more to check terror funding. The decision was announced by the president of FATF, Marcus Blair, after the 3-day plenary session in Paris. The decision is significant in the wake of Pakistan's history of lack of compliance with the FATF's action plan. A report from our correspondent Valsa Williams.
Pakistan has not yet complied with 6 out of the 27 points of the FATF action plan. These 6 points relate to terror financing. The implementation plan to curb money laundering and terror financing was supposed to be put in place by the end of 2019. However, the deadline was extended in the wake of the COVID pandemic. The FATF is an intergovernmental body set up in 1989 to combat money laundering, terror financing and other related threats to the international financial system. It currently has 39 members. These include 2 regional organizations, the European Commission and the Gulf Cooperation Council.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3 projects, including Kisan Suryodaya Yojana in Gujarat today. Health Minister Harshvardhan says next 3 months are crucial for the country in the fight against COVID-19. Government imposes stock limit to check rise in onion prices. India's foreign exchange reserves touch all-time high of $555.12 billion. Pakistan to remain in grey list of Global Terror Financing Watchdog FATF till February 2021. And in IPL cricket, defending champions Mumbai Indians beat Chennai Super Kings by 10 wickets in Sharjah. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
अरे भाई सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Welcome back. The central government has borrowed and transferred 6,000 crore rupees as the first tranche to 16 states and 2 union territories. They are Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir. The Ministry of Finance in a statement said that the borrowing is at an interest rate of 5.19%. It is intended to make weekly releases of 6,000 crore rupees to the states. It said the tenor of borrowing is expected to be broadly in the range of 3 to 5 years. The government has evolved a special borrowing window to address the shortfall in the GST collection during the year 2020-2021. The Bihar government has suspended 2 district excise superintendents and transferred 4 district excise superintendents with immediate effect following instruction of the Election Commission. Arwal District Excise Superintendent Nitin Kumar and Shekhpura District Excise Superintendent Bipin Kumar were suspended, while the District Excise Superintendents of Jehanabad, Buxar, Lakhisarai and Jamui have been transferred and sent to waiting for posting. During the review of electoral preparedness for the first phase of assembly elections on October the 23rd, the Commission noticed that the performance of some districts in terms of expenditure monitoring, including control on excise activities, had been dismal.
President Ramnath Kovind has greeted citizens on Durga Puja. In a message, Mr. Kovind said, "Respect for women, which has been the Indian tradition, is powerfully depicted in this festival." He urged everyone to take a firm resolve on this occasion to respect and empower the women folk, Matra Shakti. Mr. Kovind said, it is believed that Goddess Durga used the collective power of all gods to overcome the invincible evil. He said, it gives people the message that in these difficult times, any crisis confronting us can be overcome if we stand united.
In Karnataka, heavy rain during the past 2 days has affected normal life in Bengaluru. Many municipal wards recorded over 100 millimeters rainfall. Roads submerged in many parts of South Bengaluru and water entered over 100 houses in low-lying areas. Two-wheelers and cars were seen floating in water in basements and under bridge. Traffic was disrupted for hours on Mysuru Road, Silk Board Junction, Benurughatta Road, Basavanagudi, RR Nagar among others. The Brahut Bengaluru Mahanagare Palika Commissioner Manjunath Prasad has said that efforts are on to clear storm water drain and water flowing ducts to ease flooding. As per KSN DMC data, RR Nagar and Kengiri received the highest rainfall of 105.5 milliliters, followed by many areas in the south zone which received 95 milliliters rainfall.
This is All India Radio giving you the news.
देखिए फिल्म जगत के कई मशहूर कलाकारों के साथ भगवान श्री राम के जन्म स्थान अयोध्या से रामलीला डीडी नेशनल पर लाइव 17 से 25 अक्टूबर रोज शाम 7 बजे से रात 10 बजे तक और इसका पुनः प्रसारण 18 से 26 अक्टूबर डीडी भारती पर सुबह 9 बजे से दोपहर 12 बजे तक और दोपहर 3 बजे से शाम 6 बजे तक डीडी नेशनल पर।
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
Today is United Nations Day. UN Day marks the anniversary of the entry into force in 1945 of the UN Charter. The year 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the United Nations and its founding charter. This anniversary comes in a time of great disruption for the world, compounded by an unprecedented global health crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic with severe economic and social impacts. But it is also a reminder that times of struggle can become an opportunity for positive change and transformation. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, United Nations resident coordinator in India, Renata Desalian, has said India deserves a permanent seat on the UN Security Council.
We have the UN Security Council with its 5 permanent veto-yielding members, which basically represent the global power structure after World War II. And yet they have a legally binding mandate. And so this is quite a big challenge. I mean, we have a central body with teeth that no longer represents the geopolitical realities of today. And as you know very well, India is very vocal on this, and rightly so. India certainly deserves, to have a permanent seat on the Security Council.
For the excerpts of the interview, listen to the Parikrama program on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 4:30 p.m. In IPL cricket, defending champions Mumbai Indians (MI) beat Chennai Super Kings (CSK) by 10 wickets in Sharjah last night. Quinton de Kock and Ishan Kishan stitched an unbeaten partnership of 116 runs to help Mumbai Indians get across the line after the side was handed a paltry target of 115 runs. Kishan smashed 68 off 37 deliveries, with de Kock accumulating 46 runs off the same number of balls. Earlier, after being asked to bat first, CSK was stunned by fierce bowling performance by Trent Boult, Jasprit Bumrah and Rahul Chahar. The MS Dhoni-led side was only able to score 114 runs in their allotted 20 overs, courtesy a gutsy knock by Sam Curran. Today there will be 2 matches. The first match between Kolkata Knight Riders and Delhi Capitals will begin at 3:30 p.m. in Abu Dhabi. The second match between Kings 11 Punjab and Sunrisers Hyderabad will begin at 7:30 p.m. in Dubai.
And now let us take a look at the weather update. The national capital Delhi will have misty sky. Minimum temperature was recorded at 17 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 33 degrees. Mumbai, the minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius. Maximum around 34 degrees. Chennai, the temperatures will hover between 26 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata, minimum temperature 25 degrees. Maximum around 28 degrees. Gilgit, temperatures will hover between 4 and 26 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad, minimum temperature was 10 degrees and the maximum will be around 30 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today lead with pictures and details of election rallies in Bihar yesterday. The Indian Express leads with Nitish by his side. PM kicks off campaign, citing Galwan, Article 370 and Naya Bihar. Against the backdrop of confrontation at the LAC, armed forces enhance their readiness. The Pioneer headline reads, Navy ramps up operational readiness. While the proposal for on-site inspection fails, Pakistan to stay on FATF grey list till 2021, reports The Hindu. And finally, some reward for regularity. The Times of India, quoting the government, says, didn't skip EMIs during lockdown? Get cash back from your bank.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 3 projects, including Kisan Suryodaya Yojana in Gujarat today. Health Minister Harshvardhan says next 3 months are crucial for the country in the fight against COVID-19. Government imposes stock limit to check rise in onion prices. India's foreign exchange reserves touch all-time high of $555.12 billion. Pakistan to remain in grey list of global terror financing watchdog FATF till February 2021. And in IPL cricket, defending champions Mumbai Indians beat Chennai Super Kings by 10 wickets in Sharjah. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.